Jazakumullah khairan. So last week we discussed battle of Badr. Who won the battle? Okay, yes. Sorry? Muslims won the battle. Jazakumullah khairan. Excellent. How many people were there in Kuffar army? How many people came to attack Muslims? Yes. Okay. Anybody else? Yes. MashaAllah. Great. And how many Muslims, like Prophet ﷺ mustered all the people of Islam? How many were there? Yes. 300? Close 300, yes. 313 exactly. Good job. Okay. Now you can imagine in this kind of situation, if you get some more soldiers, what would you do? You'll be happy. Like if there are more Muslims available, there are 1,000 enemies and there are only 313 Muslims defending, then if there is some additional people who come, what would you do? You'll be happy and you'll take them, right? Do you agree? Okay. So what happened is, two companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Hudhafa bin Yaman and the other name slipped my mind. Those two brothers, they were migrating to Medina when army was coming. So army captured them. And they won't let them go until they promise that, okay, we are not going to join Muslim army. They are not going to join the battle. So they made that promise, and then the Kuffar army let them go. So when they came to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they told him, Ya Rasulullah, this is what happened. We want to fight with you against these people, but we just made this promise. So this promise was taken under coercion. This was not a natural voluntary promise. So we should be able to fight with you. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not allow them. We study Seerah to learn lessons from it. So what is the lesson we learn from here? That being true to your word, being true to your promise is so important that nothing can justify it. Breaking your promise. You can imagine how much emphasis Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam put on honoring one's word and fulfilling the promise. That even at the dire need, he did not let them fight. So whenever we are studying the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we should always focus what is the life of the Prophet. He was uswatun hasana. He was a model for us. So what are we learning from his model? So that's one point. Now, as I mentioned last week, that we are going to focus on how the prisoners were handled. Now, who will tell me how many prisoners were there? How many prisoners were there? Yes. 10? Yes. 70? Yes, mashallah. You go ahead. 70. Okay, so there were 70 prisoners. So now, how to treat the prisoners? Because if they will go by what Arabs used to do, what Jews used to do at that time, that they will, like any non-Muslims, how would they treat their prisoners? They will either execute them, They will make them slaves, sell them as slaves, take ransom, do a lot of these kind of things, brutal things to them. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already given Muslims instructions how to deal with slaves, because Islam came not to do whatever other people are doing. Islam came to teach people of right way of doing things. So in Surah Muhammad, just before Battle of Badr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them that when you take prisoners, so then you release them either for some ransom money or as a favor. So Muslims are already given instructions on how to deal with them. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would follow the Holy Quran, because that's exactly how he used to make decisions and live. Now, when they came after that day's battle, and all those 70 prisoners are brought, where they are going to kept. They don't have any special place. So they were all stationed in the masjid of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay? You know, a lot of people sometimes think that, oh, we should not do this in the masjid, we should not do that in the masjid. This is another lesson. That Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought all the prisoners and they were put in the masjid. Okay? There were going to be many benefits of doing that. Even when they, for example, do their Fajr Salah, they will be listening to the Quran. They will be seeing the behavior of the people. Their hearts may be opening to the guidance. But what I want to mention here is that how much careful he was and how much did he cared about people and their comfort. You know, they were all enemies. And people usually used to deal with them very badly. But Prophet ﷺ could not sleep. So the companions asked, Ya Rasulullah, what happened? He says, you have tied them too tight. So they are uncomfortable and they are showing their pain, so I can't sleep. You can imagine his kindness. So with consultation, he didn't just command, consultation with the companions, they loosened their tie, the way they were tied, so that they are still secure, but they are not, it's not too tight for them to be uncomfortable. Only then Prophet ﷺ was able to sleep. Then Prophet ﷺ distributed the slaves that people should, prisoners. The prisoners to people's houses, that everybody who can afford to feed them, they should take some with them and keep them at their home. And he told them that they are going to be your guests, so treat them like guests. Just imagine the akhlaq of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and look at how his companions practice it. You know, one family who had taken one or two prisoners, when the person went home, he found that they don't have enough food even for their own family. So what to do now? You know what they did? They fed the prisoner and they remained hungry themselves. This is in the society where even well-to-do people, they will put their prisoners in shackles and let them beg in the streets to find food for them. That was the society in which those people were staying hungry, feeding their prisoners. This is the kind of morality, this is the kind of behavior Prophet ﷺ came to teach us. So there was another family who had food enough, but good food was only little bit, and so they fed the better food to the prisoner, and they just survived on the leftovers and some dates and things like that. This is how the prisoners were kept. So then, according to the decision was made that people will be released if they pay 4,000 dirham as a ransom, and that will be applicable to everybody. So some people paid their ransom and got freedom. You know, among those people, prisoner, were two very closely related people to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Who will tell me who were they? Yes. Yes. So it was Prophet's uncle Abbas, and also the son-in-law of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the husband of Prophet's daughter. Okay. Did Prophet sallallahu made some special thing for them? No. Actually, Abbas at that time was still disbeliever. So he told Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you should not charge me any ransom for two reasons. Number one, I didn't want to come to fight with you. I was forced. And the second thing is that I don't have money. Okay? So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam responded to him and told him that as far as whether you wanted to come or not, it is between you and Allah. You will be accountable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As for you not having money, what about that 50,000 dinar you left with your wife? He was totally amazed. He says, nobody else other than me and my wife knew that I am leaving that money, and he told him that, okay, you keep this, and if I come back, that's fine, otherwise you'll do this with it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informed Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, okay, you have so much money, so you cannot say that I cannot pay. Rather, you should pay for yourself as well as for your relatives. So he then said, oh, I can guarantee that now I know that you get all this information from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because nobody else knew about it. So what happened is then he paid for himself as well as for two of his relatives. One was his nephew and another relative. So then the son-in-law of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu al-As, what happened? He sent the message to Prophet's daughter. She didn't have anything, so she sent her gold necklace which Khadija radhiyallahu anha had given her. So when Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw that necklace, he remembered Khadija, who for 10 years she was supporting Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all the Islamic work. And he started crying and crying. Then he asked his companions that if you allow, can we return this necklace to Zainab, which was his daughter? And everybody agreed, and then Abu al-As, his son-in-law, he was freed on the promise that he will send Prophet's daughter to Medina. He wants to stay in Mecca, he can stay, but he will send Prophet's daughter to Medina. On that promise he was released. A lot of other people, so it was not special for him. Lot of other people who could not afford to pay, they were also released on the promise that they will not do active campaigns against Islam or some other promises like that. Some people, they were literate, so they were required that if they teach 10 persons from Medina literacy, reading and writing, then they'll be free. So some people use that capability to get freedom. So you can imagine the Prophet ﷺ was finding the opportunities to let them go and trying to open their hearts to see the beauty of Islam and Islamic behavior. So that's how they treated these prisoners. And after that, in Surah Al-Anfal, Allah SWT revealed detailed instructions about future wars and fighting and prisoners of wars and the spoils of wars and all those things. Okay, so that's what I promise that next time we will talk about the prisoners of war and how Muslims dealt with them. You know how these people are called civilized people. Just remember how they treated those prisoners from Afghanistan who were put in Guantanamo Bay, whatever that bay is. Just imagine who is civilized. So Islam came to teach people what civilization is, how people should be dealing with each other. Another incident I want to mention, which happened after the Battle of Badr, is that my mind went blank. It will come back. So now everybody witnessed the victory of Muslims, and people could see clearly that this victory could not have happened without the help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what do you think? The 3 tribes of Jews who were living in Medina, what should they have learned from it? They should have very clearly, it was clear to them that Allah is on the side of the Prophet ﷺ and he helped Muslims win. So a normal person will expect that they will become Muslims. But instead, what they started doing is that they became jealous and they started even doing some bad things to Muslims in Medina. So we will go over that part. Let me just... Yes, I remember now. The people of Mecca were quite disturbed and they wanted to take revenge from Muslims of their defeat. So Umayyah bin Harb, he made a deal with Umayr bin Wahab. And the deal was that if he goes and kills Prophet ﷺ in Medina, then he owed a lot of money to Umayyah, he said that he'll forgive all his debt. And not only that, but he will take care of his children and his family expenses forever. So Umair said, now that's a great deal. So he sharpened his sword, dipped it into the poison, and went to Medina to kill the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Muslims were always on the watch because they knew all these things going to happen, so they were vigilant. So Umar radiallahu anhu noticed him. So Umar grabbed him and brought him to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is very interesting. Listen to it. So Prophet asked him, Umair, what brought you in Medina? He says, oh, nothing. I just was coming here. I thought I'll come and visit. And so he tried to change the topic. So Prophet ﷺ said, that's okay. If that's the reason, why do you have this sword? He said, oh, the swords have not helped us. We came to fight. Nothing happened. So these are useless things. So once again he tried to evade the question. So Prophet ﷺ told him that, okay, what about the deal you made with Umayyah bin Harb? He was stunned. So Prophet told him the deal he had made. He says, oh, it was only between two of us. How did you know? So he was open-minded. He saw the truth of the Prophet ﷺ. So instead of killing the Prophet ﷺ, he became the follower of Prophet ﷺ and he accepted Islam. So that's another thing I wanted to mention, which I had forgotten. So maybe I think that should be enough for today. How Jews started behaving and how Banu Kanuqa, how they were